Good YouTube, Quinn Wade, coming to y'all with that basketball analysis on analysisplayground.com and on YouTube. We're going to talk about the Portland Trailblazers and what to expect from them this up and coming season. We have to look at the fact that this was a 21-61 team last year, and they just had a really abysmal season and was one of the worst teams in the entire league. And they have made some trades to change their roster again. Obviously, the acquisition of Denny Avdija was a huge trade for them because he was a guy that could defend and could score a little bit and create his own shot. And he was a pivotal piece to what they was trying to do offensively last year, and just what they were trying to do in general was amass a lot of young talent that could develop into something special. And Denny obviously is one of those guys that had upside in the NBA, and that's why he was a guy that was drafted number 9 in the lottery. And he has shown that he can be a solid starter, averaging 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 3.8 assists on 50% shooting from the field. But he also shot 37% from three on 3.1 3-point attempts. And that was something that we needed to see from him. Can he be able to space the floor? Will he be able to do it consistently? It's something that they would need to know when they're trying to win again, because Denny Avdija is only 23 years old, and he's a huge building block for what this team is trying to do and what their identity is going to be on the basketball court. He's going to play a huge part of that in the future, and I think that he showed improvement, he showed growth, and all you can do is want him to do that more, especially the up and coming season, so you can see him as a foundation piece to trying to build this team, for playoff success in the future. You look at DeAndre Ayton, he's a guy that, has an ego, he has pride. He obviously was a double-double last year, 16 and 11. They wasn't like his Phoenix numbers, but he did score the ball very well. He didn't shoot too many threes. He stayed in the paint. He stayed at the mid-range area too sometimes, just like you knew that he would. And he just a solid center. He can block shots. He can protect the rim. He's very mobile. He's very strong. He sometimes don't have the best finishing ability. He doesn't have the best scoring ability, but he's just a starting center that can set strong screens to do dribble handoffs to give people easier opportunities. And he's just a center that you rather have than you rather not have, because he's going to do a lot of stuff that's dirty work. He's going to do a lot of stuff that stats not going to keep track of, and he's going to be able to do that consistently, as he's been able to do that everywhere he played, whether it's Phoenix or Portland. And just being a double-double is just something that helps teams, a whole lot when you do it consistently. He's one of the most, best guys at getting the rebounds and the points and getting the blocks and getting the steals and just trying to be active as much as he can. And he's a big part of what they do. It's just going to be interesting if they decide to continue to pay him $30 to $40 million in the future, when he's just a starting center, not a superstar center, not a dominant center, but just a center that understands exactly what he usually can do. He's been doing it since high school. He's been doing it since college. And I'm not really surprised that he's a double-double in the NBA, because his game just, modernized a little bit. And other than that, once he's shown that he can't shoot the three, he just showed you that he'd rather just be an interior force in the paint and on the perimeter. And now it's just about knocking down shots and making plays and trying to, finish as good as you can around the rim, even if it's a floater, even if it's a jumper, even if it's a lob, even if it's a deep catch, or even if it's a drop off for you to go straight up and try to finish with power. That's all they need DeAndre Ayton to do, and that's what he usually brings to the table. So I think the proper understanding is there. We look at the other veterans, Devontae Graham, Jeremy Grant, and guys of that ilk. They're just trying to hang around and offer offensive gifts to this team. Jeremy Grant is a guy that obviously is one of their best players, a guy that can score. He averaged 21 points on high volume efficiency scoring. 45% from the field, 40% from three. He also shot 80% from the free throw line. Had just been one of the most versatile players in the league. Unfortunately, he continues to get trapped on teams that's not really doing too much when it comes to winning games. But he still haven't let that destroy how he feels and destroy how he plays and destroy how he continues to look at the NBA and look at the situation that he finds himself into. And I think that that's good to be level headed. I think Jeremy Grant is that. Devontae Graham has fell off a little bit. He hasn't been able to shoot the three as well as he used to. He hasn't been able to score efficiently in his entire career. And he hasn't been able to get to the free throw line as much as he did the last season prior to this one that he ended up having. And there's also something wrong with his minutes. He's not getting as many minutes and as much opportunity. With the team that he played last year, it might change this year, but he is going to have to shoot the ball better, handle the ball better, and try to score more better if he wants a couple more years tacked on to his career, because this guy has fallen really far from where he was and what we thought he can be as a role player. But he still can shoot, possibly. He still can score, off the dribble, putting the ball on the floor if he doesn't have a 3-point shot, and just trying to get to the free throw line if he can. And I think that that's all he can really bring to the table, and hopefully he can do that for this team, because that's what they're hoping he can do. Then you have guys like Delano Banton and Tamani Kamara and Scoot Henderson and Bryce McGowens. And then you have guys like Justin Mania and Taze Moore. They're not going to play as much. They're not going to do as much. They're not going to be a big part of what this team is trying to do right now, because it's just too much talent on this team, and the minutes just doesn't add up for some of these guys. And some of these guys like Justin and Taze, they're not going to be on the roster that long or guaranteed to be on the roster that long. So we don't really have to look at them as difference maker. And we had to be realistic. Ryan Rupert, he's not going to be guaranteed to be on this roster either. You can say the same thing what they're going to do with Anthony Simons, one of their best scorers on the roster. He was a guy that was able to crack the 20-point mark the last 2 seasons, and was able to shoot very well from three. And he was able to show that he can score with the best of them. But he's not the most efficient guy. He's not the most dominant guy. He's just a guy that has took advantage of the opportunity that presented itself, and that's what you can just look at his career as. And he's having fun out there. He's developing. He's playing with guys his age, and he's been one of the better shooting guards in the league the last 2 seasons. Matisse Thybulle, even though his defense hasn't declined, his opportunity has declined. He just don't get as many minutes, and he just doesn't do as much because he's only playing 22 minutes a game. And last year he even played more minutes than he did than this season. In the 2023-2024 season, he just played 22 minutes, and he only shot 39% from the field, 34% from three. His role is just so messed up sometimes that you just don't know what he's going to do. And the fact that he showed that he can shoot the three last year, 2 years ago, I should say, and last year he fell off just a little bit, and then he was able to cause some type of havoc or some type of chaos on the court. His defense hasn't failed anything, but it's just his offensive output is still holding him back from getting real minutes and having a real chance to make a real impact on a team outside of defense. But Matisse been like that his whole entire career, and it's just unfortunate that he can't get the offensive, game going. Jabari Walker is a guy that I don't really see him getting a ton of minutes out of Colorado, but being 22 and 6'7", 227 pounds, that's a big forward. That's a big guy that if he does play, his 20 to 25 minutes, he has been able to show that he can score the basketball. He can be a decent rebounder, and he can be a difference maker because of those two things. And I think that he got to continue to show that, this is the role that I like, this is the game that I play, this is my style of play, and I can do that at a high level. And then you look at the fact that they also have Robert Williams. You do need a backup center when you have a guy like Aiden, and I think Robert Williams can fit that role. He only played 6 games last year for the Portland Trailblazers. He's been a guy that has been injury prone his entire career. You know, he bangs in that paint. He tries to use athleticism. He tries to use recklessness sometimes to try to put the ball in the basket. Injuries come with that. It's a toll you kind of have to pay. But this is a guy that's been shooting 70% from the field when he is healthy. And last year he shot only 65%, but didn't have a large sample size of games with a team like Portland. Obviously, his free throw shooting is not strong. His rebound game is decent for the minutes that he plays, and he also can be a guy that can play in the passing lanes and a guy that can block a lot of shots and cover a lot of space defensively at a high clip when it comes to speed. So Robert Williams is a guy that you can see continuing success for Portland like he did for Boston. Then it's just about can he do it consistently in the minutes that he's given, and he has shown in the NBA that he can do it. And he's shown that he's better off as a backup, and it keeps him more healthier too. So I think that that can be a great thing for him, even in the future. Donovan Clingan, he's a guy that's a center. They have a bunch on this roster, but he's one that can space the floor and play power forward or play, scoring position on this team. Obviously, he can shoot the three. He can shoot the mid range. He can really stay out the way and camouflage himself in the offense. And I think that Donovan Clingan is something that they needed. If Aiden not going to do it, Robert Williams is not going to do it. It still has a good thing value-wise. Offensively, if you can have a guy that can rebound and protect the rim at a decent clip and still be able to shoot the ball and make free throws and be able to hit a mid-range and be able to play pick and pop or pick and roll, it just adds more dynamics and more versatility to a team like this, even in the future, because he's only 20 years old. And if we had to be honest, this is a piece that we can see them having that can be a difference maker, in the future for them, especially if things start to go rough. They have 3 centers, and they only have to pick 2 of them because none of these guys are superstars. They just, play their role so well that they have gotten a lot of credit for it and a lot of respect for it, but they're also not the greatest players offensively, and they're not the greatest players defensively, so it makes sense why they're stuck in the middle as a team, and they're at the bottom of the conference too when it comes to games. But talent-wise, they have a lot of talent. They just don't have enough to make a difference sometimes on both ends of the court, and the inconsistent scoring and shooting has been the problem, but also inconsistent defense has put them in, a stranglehold. And then you look at Scoot Henderson. He's a guy that's really big and very strong for his position, but he also is not a great shooter, not a great scorer, don't have a good touch, don't have the greatest feel for the game. He also struggled to really put the ball in the basket. He kept trying to get close to the rim. He kept being a little narrow-minded, kept being a little blind-sided for the fact that he could have made better passes and better decisions. He also got to be able to do the stop and pop, because if you can't get to the rim, you still have to be able to get a shot off. And, you have to believe that you can do it. You have to have confidence that you can knock it down. And obviously, Scoot just struggled outside of being able to drive to the basket. It's tough to do it when you got 7-footers and 6'10" guys that's big and strong and laterally quick or just physical. It just keeps you, at bay and keeps you thinking, do I even want to get bumped? Do I even want to, get touched up a little bit in that paint? And Scoot showed that he still has fearlessness in him and ruthlessness in him to still be able to go to the paint. He just hasn't been able to show that he has developed more ways to get there, more ways to trick the defense, more ways to get the defense off balance, more ways to get by his guy fast enough to get there before the center rotates. And I think Donovan Clingan can really help him, and since they're going to be playing on the floor sometimes, just to get them centers out the paint and allow Scoot to be able to handle the ball and be able to brutalize the defense and still be able to get to the basket and finish and get to the free throw line also, which he showed that he can be a decent free throw shooter at 81%. And then you look at the rebounds and you look at the assists and you see that, well, you averaged 14 points. It was ugly, it was tough, it was hard, but at least you showed that you had relentlessness to continue to try and continue to do the best that you could to play your game. Now it's time for it to evolve. Now it's time for it to mature. And now it's time for it to become something bigger and better. And that's being able to hit the perimeter mid-range. That's being able to hit a floater type of shot. That's being able to look at the defense and find more avenues to go to the paint and be able to finish, and being able to get, the scoring, up in general when it comes to efficiency. So I think all these things can happen. I think all these things definitely might, happen eventually, but it's only year one. So there's no time to panic. There's no time to doubt, because these guys are smally putting things together throughout an 82 game season, and then they have the whole off season to work on their game, and especially scrimmages and training camp too before the season starts, show you that they can mature and become better players. And then Chris Murray, just a guy that has a really good body, has really good size, has really good length, can be a guy possibly that can hit a three, and a guy that can be a transition guy, speedy, quick, fast, strong, athletic guy that can possibly be, the great complementary player like his brother. I think obviously he's more inconsistent, and he is more of a worse shooter, but it's only year one. Like I said, spot up threes, top of the key threes, cut to the basket, getting out in transition and using that length and that fast and that quickness to be able to finish, with alley-oops and dunks. And that would up his efficiency, that up his confidence. Then it's just about making perimeter plays from the corner and being able to put the ball on the floor and hit a floater or dunk, or being able to stop and pop. And I feel like he has the ability to do both of those things, but can he do all of them eventually? I think that he can, but will he? We have to see on that. He also needs to be a better rebounder in the minutes that he gets, but he also need to be quick off the ball if he can't score, or he can't have a shot that he's confident in. Then he needs to move the ball faster, so that way it doesn't stick and the defense can be in more trouble. And I think that he will get that understanding with experience. Same with the entire roster. And, it's just going to be interesting to see how they continue to develop as a team and how they continue to try to play off each other. Duop Reith, he's a guy that out of LSU, I don't think he's going to get much chances and much opportunities because of Robert Williams, because of Aiden, because of Donovan Clingan being on his roster. They're better. They're more athletic. Has more size. They have more versatility. They have more different things they can bring to the table. So I look at him as a force big that you really don't need too much production out of unless an injury occurred and you need him to play 5 to 10 to 15 minutes. And other than that, I don't really see him making that much of a difference on this roster and not being a huge part of their future. So other than that, comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell for more analysis. Obviously, if you like this video, there's more videos on this channel that you might possibly like. I will also recommend, if you've been a part of the channel, continue to be a fan of the channel, continue to like, continue to share, continue to watch older videos that you may have missed throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year. And I appreciate you guys for doing that, showing you that you really love and enjoy the channel and the content that it brings to the table. Other than that, I will also say thanks for watching. Thanks for continuing to support the channel any type of way that you can. And I really do appreciate that. I got the best fans on earth, and I feel like I should be able to say that with confidence, and I do. And this is the end of What to Expect series. Next thing we gonna do is award predictions and preseason instant analysis. Gonna get some more breakdowns. Gonna give y'all some rookie analysis. We also got the rundown returning because the season It's going to start in October. It's almost October. So we previewed all 30 teams. Now it's time to bring some more fun type of content like lists and debates and discussions and just add in more NBA coverage because we do upload every day on this channel. Well, I upload every day on this channel, and it's just good to see that you guys keep coming back and still want to watch a lot and really do enjoy the content that I continue to make and produce as I do most of this on my own. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. I got to go, and hopefully I'll see you guys later.